they're continuously filling it, and some of it has to go out. So that's what you're seeing. And so you hear her saying liquid oxygen is going in there. It's one of the main propellants. I mean, you need oxygen to get the fuel to actually burn. So the cool thing about having the feed up here is we're watching it live, and then we'll get to see when we see it here. So if you're going to be outside, if you want to go outside, bring the phone with you, pull up the SpaceX feed. T-minus 6 minutes now. Complete fill, so they're completely filled up right now. And so if you guys see me jumping around a little bit, I actually have 2 other cameras set up here. I'm going to try to take a long exposure of this as well. And I'm going to put my phone over there in a minute to kind of get a view of this as well. So I'm going to be doing some videoing as well. And obviously we'll get it on this camera as well. And I might ask Jarrell when we launch to turn the light off so that we get a better view. But for right now, I want you to be able to see me. So let me put the computer there. I gotta be careful because we're pretty high up here. I hear my phone is blowing up, so it's probably people texting me. Okay, they had some audio problems apparently, so let me make sure my mic is up here really good. I don't normally have a camera person with me when we're doing this. So we're T-minus 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is get my other camera ready here. In case you're wondering, if you have a compass, believe it or not, Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center is exactly 178 degrees on the compass, which is almost due south. So that's where the launch will happen. Eventually, it's going to move over to about 150, 140, and work its way towards the east. So due south, the last time I was here for a launch, that MetLife building right there, it came just from beyond there and then went off in this direction. So thank you, James. James said the audio is all good now. So I'm going to put my phone over here because I'm going to get it ready to take some video. But I'll continue to talk to you guys as I set this up. The key is I got to catch this with a couple different cameras. One of the things I'm doing is I'm going to use my iPhone to video this, which the iPhones do a pretty good job, believe it or not, if you have it on a tripod. So if you're going to try to film something like this, I highly recommend using a tripod, even for your phone. We're going to video this whole thing. Might do it on wide angle here. The other thing I'm going to do is I got my DSLR, and I'm going to do a long exposure. So the goal with this is to try to get maybe the whole streak of this, kind of like when you shoot the space station. So that's what we're going to do with this camera. So we'll have a couple different cameras set up to hopefully catch this. Coming up at 9 o'clock here, so looking at the T-minus 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So I got the laptop up there. I'm going to turn the volume up here so everybody watching at home can see this. I need my glasses on for this, not because I can't see this, it's like this dot could be so small I want to be able to see it off in the distance. All right, so about 3 minutes out, which is perfect. The thing about an instantaneous launch window, and a lot of people pointed this out on my Facebook page, I should have been more clear on that. It's a launch window technically, but it's an instantaneous launch window, which means they have to launch at 9:03. They can't delay it a minute or two because the space station is going to be buzzing by at 17,000 miles per hour. So they're not going to be able to catch up to it if they have a delay. So if they can't go at 9:03, they'll scrub it. And they have another window tomorrow. So they're still loading up the rocket with fuel. That's why you're seeing all that venting if you're watching the SpaceX feed as well. The astronauts are sitting there comfortably. I always wonder what it's like to be an astronaut in there because they've been out there for like 4 hours. There's a reason they have astronaut diapers, right? You hear those stories about that, but they're stuck in there for a long time. One of the cool things when they're getting on, I've seen they had to basically make sure there's no foreign bodies or anything all over them before they get in there. They're really clean. That's why you see all the people, the engineers, everyone working around them with masks on and gloves and hair nets. They don't want any foreign bodies getting inside the spacecraft. So SpaceX is now our big, our big, basically, ferry to space. NASA contracts them to take our astronauts up to the space station. We had astronauts land 2 days ago in the Gulf of Mexico, and now we're launching 4 more. They were hoping that they could cross over before they left the space station, but that wasn't possible because of a delay. So coming up, T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds. Hopefully this is not a lag. That's the only thing about watching a live stream. I'm in live, so there's probably a little bit of a delay there. Looking at my watch, I'm going to actually change my face so I can see seconds here. I have 30 seconds on my watch, and they're at a minute there, so there might be a 30-second difference, which won't be that big a deal. We're going to notice right. So I'm going to go hit record on this. Okay, so we're recording there, and we're going to take a couple pictures with this, hopefully. So I have 9:03 on my watch, and they have 7 seconds. So my watch might be off too. 30 seconds, T-minus 30 seconds. Oh, here we go. Hopefully this is it. All right, Drew, I want you to kill the light, and we'll talk over this. So I'm just going to talk, guys. You probably won't see me. 20 seconds to liftoff. So we'll see if we see this thing. Again, we're not expecting a huge comet or a huge vapor trail. That's what you've seen pictures of in other parts of the country around sunrise and sunset. And we won't see a plasma trail like we saw with the landing, because that's actually burning up in the atmosphere. This is different. This is only going to be the booster rocket actually supplying the light. So we have liftoff on the live feed. We'll see if we see it. So we have launch. So it's downrange. We'll see if we see it here. Boy, it looks spectacular down there in Florida. If you've ever get a chance to see one of these launches up close down in Florida, it is amazing. It will blow you away. The sound alone is unbelievable. So it's going to be probably 20, 30 seconds to a minute before we see something here. But if we see it, it should be making its appearance very shortly. It's getting up there. All right, let's see. This could either be a dud or spectacular. Should have brought my binoculars just in case. We're getting pretty high up there. Hopefully cloud cover isn't messing up our view either. That's the other concern. Not seeing anything yet. Nothing yet. Getting pretty high up. So even on the video, you can see that over there we only have a little burn. That's what we're looking for. It is going to be a tiny dot. The main thing we might see is the separation, if we see anything at all, because there is a little bit of flames when that happens. We should be seeing something by now. So the second stage is about to turn up. Yeah, so we're not seeing a whole lot here, which is kind of a bummer. Let's see if the separation happens.
Continues to look good. Stage 1 thrown out.
Separation is happening. But we're not seeing much. It's such a small dot, it looks like the appearance is not going to be all that great. This is the one negative of not having a sunrise or a sunset going on to illuminate the vapor trail, is that you just don't see it. You got to look for a tiny speck. So there's a separation. So there's a separation on the video, so we didn't see a whole lot here. Still looking, not seeing much. This is always the fear when you have these late night launches that you can't see it from this distance. So the problem we're having is that we don't have a vapor trail. So if you're looking at the video here, that's the only light being illuminated right now. It's coming from the engine right there. So it's not actually visible unless you have a telescope or even binoculars. And as I'm looking, I can't even see that little tiny speck.
Now 3 minutes and 40 seconds into flight. Everything's still on track.
So kind of a bummer. I thought we'd see a lot more than that. But we didn't get to see a whole lot with that guy. So that's why you never know when you come out here if you're going to see something or not. So everybody watching, hopefully we'll see a better show in the future. And if you're looking for a better show, typically the best time to see these launches are when they're happening right before sunrise or just after sunset, because what happens is the sunlight illuminates the vapor trail and it lights up the whole sky. So that's typically when we have the best view. So this view wasn't so good tonight. As I look, can't even see the booster separation. So kind of a bummer. But that's like anything astronomical. You got to take your chances and hope you come out and see something. And sometimes you don't see anything at all. So kind of a bummer. I was hoping we'd see a little bit more. I'm going to turn off my camera here. Yeah, we didn't even see the separation. I was hoping at the very least we could have seen the booster, but yeah, so she's saying they're still off the East Coast with a 6-minute burn going on. So their current altitude is 190 kilometers. So they are way up there now. They're on their way to the space station. That's the only light being illuminated right now from the spacecraft. When these morning flights or these evening flights take off, there's a vapor trail. There's a gas plume behind it, which at night you can't see. But if it's near sunrise or sunset, it'll get illuminated, and that's what gives that comet feel. And earlier I was showing Jarrell, our photographer, the view I had earlier with a previous launch. I'm going to stop this just so you can get an idea. I'm going to pause it here. So this was a view. This is what it looked like in a morning sunrise shot. So you can see there was a big plume coming off it, and this is the exact same location. So, but you can see the sun was rising in the east over here, and that illuminated the whole thing. Tonight, we unfortunately didn't have that, or sunset coming from the west to light it up when it got high in the atmosphere. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see any of that. Didn't even see the booster come back down. So kind of a bummer, guys. Sorry it wasn't more spectacular, but we'll see the next launch. Hopefully it'll happen closer to sunrise or sunset. And remember, the return sometimes can be spectacular. That can be spectacular at night if it travels over us, because you will see a plasma trail as it comes back to the atmosphere and burns up a little bit. But they're 201 kilometers in altitude. They're approaching 13,000 kilometers per hour, and they're 6 minutes into the flight. So they're probably, from here, they would be all the way over there, going over the horizon right now, and not even visible. So the first stage should be coming back down here. So maybe we'll hold out and see if we see that. That could be something worth seeing. We'll see if there's a re-entry burn with that. Typically that happens right over in this area. Oh, actually, I see it. There it is. It's really faint. Turn that light. You can barely see it. You see that little faint fuzz coming off of it? Oh, there's the burn. Look over here, Darrell. That's the booster coming back down. There it is. So there's the booster coming back down. So that is actually landing on a drone ship right now. Ooh, the burn just went off, so we missed it. And it was crazy because I can faintly still see it over there. Boy, you have to look carefully. Oh, and a shooting star right in front of it. Did you guys see that? Unbelievable. At the same time, we had a meteor, a fireball meteor, go right across the face of this. Unbelievable. So it's hard to tell, but can you kind of faintly see it? Yeah, it's very faint. Now, if this was sunrise, that thing would be lit up. So actually, we had something. We got to see something out of this. So the only light that's coming out of it is from the engine. So yeah, and it's got kind of like it looks like a cone, and that's it going into the atmosphere. So that's almost looking due east now. That's the other thing. Jarrell had to work hard for this one because it's way there all over the place. But that's how these sometimes go. It's pitch black, so it's hard to see them. But yeah, now we can barely see it. I can't even make it out anymore. But that was amazing that we had a fireball meteor at the same time. So I'm glad we stayed out a little bit longer. That was pretty cool. And you did get to see the booster. That was the one thing I thought for sure we would see, because that's actually re-entering the atmosphere. It's coming in, and so it's got to slow back down. And so there's a huge burn that goes out so it can slow down and land. And it lands horizontally, or vertically, excuse me, on a drone strip, which is basically a barge that is non-manned. So if there's a mishap, there's no explosion. So that was pretty cool. Ended up being a little bit cool. That's the thing about this. Like I said, you never know what you're going to see when you come out here. You know, we're like, oh, this is a bummer. It's disappointing. But we actually saw the landing of the booster, and then we briefly saw that, and we caught a meteor. So, guys, back at the studio, everybody who saw that on the live stream, I hope we recorded that, because that was a pretty good fireball. That actually broke up. That was a fireball meteor. And that breakup, did you see some of the green in there? That usually means there's some kind of iron or copper in that one. So that was a pretty cool one. The fact that it came right across the face of the space capsule. And here comes the launch, or the landing. So this is the drone ship. This is a pretty cool shot. That's actually it landing back on the drone. So the camera breaks up, but that was the drone ship there. And so the engine is off, so that's why we couldn't see it anymore. So it's actually, they're almost in space right now. They're at about 200 kilometers above the Earth. So they're way over here. Actually, looking at the map, they're off the east coast of Canada heading into the North Atlantic. So that was pretty cool. So hey, it wasn't a big bust after all. That was pretty awesome. All right. Now it's up there, and we get to watch it in the next couple of nights. We'll see if we see the space station go by. We might see, I don't know when they're supposed to link up. I think they're supposed to link up maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But sometimes they'll pass with the capsule, the Dragon capsule, behind the space station. And if it passes overhead, I'll have to look at the trajectories. You can actually see them flying together. You actually might see one pass and another one pass. So the next couple of nights will be something worth checking out. But that's going to do it for our live stream. I'm glad we stayed on just a little bit longer and caught that. That was pretty cool. If you do have some great pictures or video, shoot them to me tonight. Maybe you're in a different location. If you're on the coast or the mountains, you had a better view. Send me your pictures or video. I'll try to turn them around. We'll show them tonight at 11. But thanks everybody for joining me tonight for our live stream. I got to go back to the station because we had the 11 o'clock news, and I got to back up. But thanks for tuning in. I hope you saw something nice tonight. The best part of the whole thing was seeing the meteor. So at the very least, I got to see a meteor live, and hopefully we caught it on camera because that was pretty cool. See you guys later.